Hi guys, our next card that we're going to make today is a pocket card. So it's with our soft suede and rose red, and when you pull out the ribbon here you have an extra place to put a greeting here. The stamp set that we'll be using today is Pocket Silhouettes and Curvy Verses here. So you'll need your card stock, which is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then our designer paper in the soft suede is cut at 3.5 by 3.5. The rose red is cut at 2.5 by 3.5. Another piece of rose red at 1.5 by 2.5. 2 pieces of vanilla cut at 1 1/4 by 2 1/4. And one more piece of the soft suede cut at 1 by 3.5. I also have ribbon here. This is from the last catalog, because I don't have the vanilla ribbon yet. So one side was Kiwi Kiss and then this side was vanilla, so I'll be using this one. Rose red ribbon at 5 inches, 9 inches, and 1.5. So let's get started here. So what we're going to start with is putting our pocket on our card first. So let me move these out of the way until we need them. Now, because we are going to be putting this as a pocket, when we put this on, we want to keep this side open here so it can slip in. Now, don't put your glue all over because you want it just around the edges so we can fit our card in here. So let's go ahead and do that. I love my snail. And I'm not putting it right at the bottom, I'm putting it about 1 inch up. When you use your grid paper, it's great because you can line up and make sure that things are put on evenly. So I see that I'm putting this on at this line, so I'm going to match it up to this line here, and that just ensures it's even. Press it down to make sure it's on. So now we're going to move on to the band. First, if you notice on the card, I have the stitch marks all the way around it. So you just take your marker or your gel pen here and you do dashes all along the side. Makes it look like it's a stitch mark without having to get your sewing machine out. Adds a little bit of texture, tad more color contrast as well. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. So we're going to mount the 5-inch ribbon. I'm going to lie it flat on here on a piece on the grid paper. I'm going to take a piece of snail here on each side, line it up in, you can do it in the middle, top, bottom, and then when I fold this around, it sticks. So now I can mount that here. So let's go ahead and do that. You can trim down these edges of the ribbon too. There we go. Now to make this bow here, instead of the normal just knot that I make, this piece is about 9 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop it like this, like a bunny ear. Make another, come back with a bunny ear. So now I have like 2 bunny ears. Instead of just ending it, I'm going to do that again, but extend this piece out a little bit longer than the first piece. Now I need that to stick, so I'm going to take one piece of ribbon here, cross it down, and I'm going to use a glue dot to secure it. So I'm putting this glue dot down and just pulling that tight so it holds it in place. And I'm just trimming off the edge here. And I'm going to place it on with a dimensional. Right in the middle here. Pull this off. And there we go. We're going to move on to the pocket part, or the card that pulls out. I like to mark my centerpiece here, like the center of my card, because then I know where I want the center of my punch to go. This is the 1 1/4 punch, so I'm going to place it down and try to get the line in the middle. So that tries to ensure that you have your punch in the middle. I'm taking my ribbon and I am folding it about, and I will be stapling it here. So I have my stapler, and There we go. And I trim off the excess in the back. And I'm taking my black marker or gel pen and all the way around like I did on the front of the card just to make it match. We're going to put the stitches on there. There's Bob again. I'm also going to follow that through here and go all the way around. Okay, I'm going to take one of our pieces of vanilla. This card's going to be a little bit slightly different than the first one. It's the same concept, same patterns, everything. I'm just using different stamps from the same sets. So this one says, "Time passes, friendship stays right where it's put." Going to stamp that right in the middle. And don't use dimensionals on this one because it needs to split through the card, right, into the pocket. So there we go. And just want to give it a little test to make sure that it slides in and out fine. Yeah, make sure those corners are down because that's what happens if it's not. Now we're going to move on to the center part of it. So on this one I use friend to friend. On this one I'm going to use the rose red ink. I'm going to ink it up here. And I'm going to put it on there. Now if you see the card here, you'll notice that I feel free to layer with colors. So obviously put the lighter color on first. So that says friend to friend. And this one's going to say the same. You can hear my 24-year-old cat in the back around there. Friend to friend. Oh, it's a little bit off there, but that's okay. So I'm going to close this up. Now if you could see the shimmers on there, that's what we're going to do next. I love my iridescent ice. So I'm going to take my Versamark pad, open her up, and I'm going to put the piece we just did. That's just my measurements on the back so I can remember to tell you. And put it in there. Make sure it's all covered. If you see a spot that's not covered, put it back on. And I'm taking my iridescent ice, putting it over it. I'm just doing it in my tray here. Shake off the excess. And it's all shiny, but we don't want it just shiny, we want it melted. So I have my heating tool, hang on to it, because it'll fly away here. And now not the camera, I'll pick it up, but you can see it's starting to melt. Don't go too close or you actually will burn your paper. Please don't burn your fingers. And so it's all melted there. Do give it a second to cool off because it is hot. Now I'm going to mount this. You can use the dimensionals with this one because we're not worried about anything needing to pop out of it or anything like that. So I'm putting 2 dimensionals on there. Sticking it back to here. Taking my card and putting it on the middle here. There you go. Now I know a lot of people don't do the inside, but I do like to do the inside. I find it, if you've got the stamps to coordinate, you might as well coordinate it. So I'm going to open this up, take my Versamark again, and just put a little stamp in the corner. It's not invasive because you can write over it. It's not texture because it's stamped. It's not, embossed or anything like that. Just so it has a little matching on the inside. So when they open it up, they have their little message. They tuck it in, and there you go. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.